relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Only on Television Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
Good evening. It's another Tuesday night, which means another episode of Pleasure Pulse, and I'm your host, Roma Richardson, and I'm so happy to have you join me this evening. It's actually fitting that I went to the gym today and got a workout in because tonight we're going to be talking about sex and fitness and the connection between that. So as usual, I'm going to give you some time to tell everybody that Pleasure Pulse is live, that we're on, to gather the troops, to tune in, so that you come right back and stay with us through this whole conversation. So we'll take a very short break, and then we'll come back, gather your people, let them know Pleasure Pulse is on, send them the link, and then come
Get
back.
ready to ignite your Tuesday nights with a show that's as educational as it is entertaining. Welcome to Pleasure Pulse, your weekly guide to the world of sex education. Join Roma every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. exclusively on Television Radio 96.1 FM. It's the perfect way to spice up your midweek routine and get answers to all your burning questions. Whether you're looking for relationship advice or curious about the art of intimacy, Roma's got you covered. Pleasure Pulse, every Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. Only on Television Radio 96.1 FM. Don't miss out. Your sex education journey starts this Tuesday with Roma as your guide.
Hi, welcome back to Pleasure Pulse. I'm your host, as usual, Roma Richardson, and I'm so happy to have you here this evening. And I'm also happy to introduce you to my guests, whom I will ask to, tell you who they are, share whatever they want to about themselves, as we get into this conversation tonight about sex and fitness. So, who wants to start?
Good evening. My name is Wayne Clark. I'm a fitness trainer, life coach, and I'm happy to be here, owner of the DT Fitness Club, and I'm just happy to be here.
And also my personal trainer.
Yes.
My personal trainer. And then we have...
Good night. I'm Nurse Noreen Gabriel, being a community nurse midwife for 20 plus years.
Okay, midwife. That's good.
Yep.
Maybe another time we'll have a midwifery
Midwife, yeah.
conversation. Because that's a very important and personal one to me, having no children. But anyways, so tonight we're going to talk about sex and fitness, sex and health, and the connection between those two. So let's start off just generally an introduction. Is there a connection between sex and health and fitness? What is that connection or that relationship?
All right, let me start. Yes, there's a connection. Studies have shown that males who exercise regularly, your testosterone levels would be a certain way. Also, when we reach a certain age as males, let's say 40 going up there, our testosterone levels drop. So exercise definitely would help keep your testosterone up, your libido, stuff like that. And it's good to exercise so that we can be more able to navigate through life. Life can be stressful, and exercise is one way of, balancing stress. And also, exercise helps the skeletal muscle, and it also helps when it comes to underlying illnesses, NCDs, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the NCDs part, because that seems like it might seem like a departure from what we're talking about, but the nurse here, we can talk about the impact that NCDs are non-communicable diseases. You can give some examples. There is a connection between all of it. So NCDs can impact on your sex life and so on. Nurse,
Yes,
can
it
you
does.
talk about that?
Yes, of course. With diabetes, you find that they have a decreased libido, but once they exercise at least 2 to 3 times per week, it helps to increase the libido and the sex drive.
Okay.
Yes.
What about are there other NCDs that have
Even with hypertension,
Yeah.
because you find once you exercise, you won't need the medication. these NCDs then they will be controlled by your diet.
Okay, and I know that health and fitness are big recommendations that are given to people who have NCDs, right?
Yes, we try to encourage them to exercise.
Yeah. Is there any other connection between NCDs and sexual health, like specifically for men or for women? Does it affect their function? Is there a connection with erectile dysfunction, with vaginal dryness? Like, are there any other connections that you can talk to?
For both male and female, yes, there's a connection. For example, the male, as I said, will have the decreased libido. You find sometimes during sex they have a hard on, but then sometimes in the middle, when you look, it falls, right? And once they exercise, because studies have shown this, once they exercise, it helps to increase it and help them to maintain that hard. As well as the female, they have dryness of the vagina, but also before sex, there's foreplay, which plays a great part, and it helps to help the lubrication of the vagina also.
Okay, so there are some connections there.
Yes.
And when we started this conversation, it was going to be a general conversation, but those of you listening, because in St. Kitts and Nevis, we have very high rates of NCDs.
Yeah.
So you might be wondering, like, what's going on with my sex life? 20 years ago, before I got this NCD, I performed a particular way. I was able to maintain my erections and different things like that. So if you have any friends who have an NCD, have been talking to you about this, or might have an NCD and have shown certain symptoms, encourage them to tune in, because this conversation seems like it will be for everyone tonight, right? So, okay.
Yes.
So we've gotten a bit about the relationship between sex and general health. What about the connection between sex and exercise specifically?
All right. So naturally, when you exercise, you get happy endeavors. All right. So your cognitive function, everything is alive, and that's one of the things that exercise do. It get the blood going, it gets your body moving, and it's one of the ways of making sure that we preserve ourselves, as I say, your skeletal muscle. So your skeletal muscle, your endocrine system, all these things works better when you exercise. So definitely, if you are more physically fit, and we can't forget your rest, because I don't want to say exercise. Recovery is also important. So your resting and your nutrition. So I can say, just exercise. But if your nutrition is also intact, whereas you eat a lot more colorful foods, when you speak to your doctor, if your doctor don't understand the functionality and nutrition, you get somebody who knows that and be able to guide you to that. As the gym, we work out together. So you get somebody who understands fitness who can also give you the guidance as well. Yeah.
So it's important to put in exercise,
right,
in order to have a healthy sexual life.
With nutrition. So I want to marry the two.
Okay.
Because I don't want to separate nutrition from physical activity. They go together. So that's the marriage I'm bringing here today. Fitness and nutrition is what is necessary in order to produce a better forward when it comes to our health.
Okay, so that means that don't expect to perform at your optimum self sexually off of chicken and chips. Very unlikely. Very unlikely, right? So you need something.
Yes.
You need a balanced diet. You need all the food groups. You need all of those things. And I don't think we necessarily think about how what we're eating is affecting different aspects of our life, or how we're moving or not moving affects different aspects of your life. Because, like fitness and moving your body, gymming, things like that, helps to give you the endurance that you need for sexual activity.
Yes.
Remember, this is a sexual, so we're going to be talking about sex.
And
the point is to talk about sex and to talk about how we can increase the pleasure that is derived from sex. And so one of the important things to look at from this conversation will be your levels of fitness,
Yes.
your levels of endurance, your nutrition,
Yes.
what you eat, because, you know, it can sustain you. You can really tell the people who living off a ramen, who living off of things like that, based on how they perform sexually. So that's the message that I'm gonna give to you tonight. You know, even if you're having ramen, like put some broccoli with it, like put some carrots with it. You know, so it's not to shade ramen at all, but to ensure that you are supplementing it with the with the nutritious things that you need.
And why I say there's a marriage, because our society has now be spiraling down, in the sense of we have to start to exercise more and watch the amount of processed food we eat.
Yeah.
So while exercise is the savior, I would suggest this. Well, I'm a male, so I would say to the males, because I know a lot of males don't go and do the health check, stuff like that. It's best to get your health check. If you don't have a doctor, you go to one of the clinics. I go to one of the clinics, you know, and get your checks, get your prostate check, get your blood works, you know, right?
Yes.
At least you will have that understanding. Why I say this? When you have an understanding of how your body is functioning, then you can take that information to a trainer. Remember when we first started training, one of the questions was, are there anything that I need to know in terms of your health condition? Why I need to know that? Then I can decide how I'm gonna move forward in terms of the fitness regime, the way in which I set the exercise flow.
Yeah.
Then that within itself would help build you up. For instance, there are different level of fitness in our society. So in order to make it work for everyone, we're talking about sex. So even when you're 60, you still can be active.
Yeah. You still should.
You still should be active.
Encouragement, if you can.
Because I think there's a research that says that, people who are sexually active and cut back on being sexually active, do they say that
it's healthier to be sexually active?
Okay.
Studies have shown that.
Right, but what about when it comes to, let's say, cancer, like prostate cancer and stuff? Would you say that would be like guys who are not physically active and
guys who have less sex? Studies have shown. I read that today. So the more sex you have, and what studies have shown is that men should have sex at least 21 times per month. And even if they're not sex, even if they have an orgasm, so there are other ways of having an orgasm. So at least 21 times, at least 21 times per month. Studies have shown that, yes.
So not to get things backed up.
Yes.
So you want to keep things moving.
But what about just not even ejaculating all those times, but, making sure that it is functional? So you can probably massage, because it's an exercise for
your hands
and stuff like that. There's this guy I saw on YouTube, Yaki something, and he now is into health. He held this health thing out and stuff, and he was talking about, like, when he was like in his 20s, he was ED and stuff. So we know that there's a lot of people who are young that probably ain't come on the scene to say, these things. So why I go there? Exercise, nutrition, rest is what's gonna help that flow.
Okay. All right. So thank you for, I think, highlighting that connection between those three things: exercise, nutrition,
and rest. Yeah.
Equals
greater performance.
Good sexual health. I think we'll take a short break here, and then we'll come back and continue our conversation. Stay tuned. Pleasure Pulse. If you've been listening, you know that we're talking about the connection between sex and fitness, sex and health more broadly. And so I want to, we've covered that relationship, you know, the connections between sex and health at all, and some of the connections between sex and exercise, how exercise helps to boost sexual performance, increase sexual desire, you know, your libido, your endurance, and things like that. And we've talked about the connection, the way that nutrition needs to be mingled into all of that.
Yes.
So, I had some myths here and some facts, and I wanted us to go through them.
Okay.
Play a little game, and you can tell me what the answers are. First one, the myth is that exercise, and I don't know where these myths come from, you know, I kind of just pull them from different places online, and you can tell me in your experience too, you know, what you found some people think when it comes to sex and exercise. So myth, first one, exercise negatively affects sexual performance. Is that a myth or is that a fact?
A myth.
A myth. Fact. Regular exercise can actually improve sexual function, as we've said, and performance by increasing blood flow, which we mentioned, which will especially be good for people experiencing, you know, erectile issues and maintaining an erection, boosting stamina, so helping you last longer. Not too long, please. not too long, please. Nothing past 20-30 minutes, okay? Because remember, you have a partner on the other end, unless both of you agree that that's fine. And promoting overall physical well-being. You also want to be mindful, I think, when, especially if you are, let's say, leading the sexual experience, of how much you're like going, right? Because you have to be careful about, you know, your heart, your blood pressure, your excitement, and things like that, and, you know, make sure that you're not going, like, pushing yourself too far. Not next myth, exercising immediately before sex can lead to decreased arousal or libido. Like, should you do some, because sometimes you see it in movies and on TV and so, like, people doing push-ups and squats, like, right before sex. Like, does that have an effect at all?
No.
Okay. Why no? Tell me.
No. No.
Okay. Okay.
Because, I mean, like,
yeah.
you know, like, even like, you know, when, like, younger people, I can say, like, when you were younger and you're playing sports, I know persons who play sports and then after sports, you know, even have sex before sports. I would say it depends on the person.
Okay.
What they can deal with.
Yeah.
Their tolerance.
Okay. And it also depends on if that activity, like the exercise, is sustained.
Yeah.
Right? So regular exercise will contribute to overall energy boosting, but it's a fallacy to think that if you only exercise before sex, that it will transform your sexual experience. Okay. Next myth. Men who engage in intense exercise have a lower sperm count.
That's not true.
No.
Okay, so, and that's yeah, it is a myth. And the fact is that excessive exercise might temporarily affect sperm count, but moderate physical activity is generally not associated with a significant negative impact. But I was reading today, so I was looking up like some of those different physical activities that you can do, because I know growing up, like, men have always been warned against biking, cycling. I think there are athletics like track and field, horseback riding, there's boxing, kickboxing, like things like that. So like anything that actually causes trauma to your genital area can affect, you know, your sperm count, your overall sperm health. But generally, you know, there's no real correlation. And there's another one here. Women who exercise excessively may experience menstrual irregularities or infertility. Is that true, nurse?
That's false.
That's false. Okay, so extreme forms of exercise. You know, I feel like anything can sometimes throw menstrual cycles off, but a lot of women are even encouraged to do some form of exercise.
Because,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but
No interruption.
exercise helps to decrease the menstrual flow as well as the cramps.
Yeah. So exercise actually helps
Yes.
you cope and get through your menstrual cycle. And then the last one, and this is something that I think we talk about culturally a lot, that certain positions help with like toning and increasing muscle size, like glutes. Is that true?
True. Sex is a form of exercise.
The nurse said true, you know.
Sex is a form of exercise.
Sex is a form of exercise.
Yes.
Yeah, so pelvic floor exercise, Kegel exercise, all those things is not only for women, because you know when a woman have a baby, Kegel exercise is something that you would do
To help you regain
You know,
the muscle
Yeah.
to
tone.
regain the muscle tone. But guys can do Kegel exercise because it helps strengthen their flow.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So, fact, some positions during sex and sex overall as a form of fitness can help to tone
And burn calories at the same
burn
time.
calories, and it's a really good calorie burner.
Yes.
And especially if you're sweating,
Yes.
and increase muscle size. But I think it's just like slower than if you were to go to the gym and target,
Right.
isolate that muscle. So, okay. So actually, I wanted to go to this next
Go ahead.
about sex being a form of exercise, but you said it. So let's just jump straight into that topic. So how is sex a form of exercise? Why is sex a form of exercise? How can you reap the health or exercise-ish benefits of sex more? Like, how can I make sure I am, you know, having sex to the point where I get maximum health and fitness benefits?
That's all right.
Sex increases the heart rate to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And after sex, you find some people, they fall asleep right after, because that is due to a hormone that helps them to relax and they fall asleep. Also, during sex, estrogen and testosterone are released, and these help to prevent certain conditions like osteoarthritis.
Okay.
Yes.
But sex is exercise. In terms of males, you know, sometimes males fall short. So we maybe a minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So it can work for, let's say, 10, 15, 20, as you
Yeah.
say, 25 minutes up there. But it's all about pacing yourself. Because sometimes we are excited and, you know, sometimes people just want to smash and boom. But it's, if you know how to control the mind muscle, then it can benefit everybody in terms of the long duration. But you can't burn much calories in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So then, role play, try to stretch it out.
Okay, so sex is a form of exercise, but those benefits depend on a lot of things.
Yes.
So like we were talking about earlier, it depends on your fitness levels, your levels of endurance and so on. Because the recommendation is for adults to get like 30 minutes of exercise at least per day, right? So if you're having sex, if you're using sex as your fitness tool, it means that you're going to need to get that heart rate up for at least 30 minutes.
Well, it can fluctuate. Because to
I mean, not up and keep it up there
because,
forever.
I mean,
that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean.
So then
you get the blood pumping.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like interval training.
Yeah.
Maybe you can go and then you can pull back. You can go. You know what I mean? It just depends. You know what I mean?
So don't rush through it. Like you wouldn't rush through an exercise necessarily.
Don't rush through it.
Take your time, focus on the muscles that you're engaging. And of course the person that you're engaging with,
And,
don't see them like a barbell. They're not a barbell. But, the mind muscle person connection. Yeah.
And sometimes if let's say you're in a space that is not like air conditioned, like it's extremely cold, but you know what I mean, so that the body can warm up and sweat. Sometimes if it's too cold, then you're not getting to sweat like you should. Because when you great sex, boom 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 boom, everybody's sweating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you want sometimes.
Okay.
You just don't want your heart rate up, but you want to be like sweating, like
sliding off each other.
Something like that.
Okay. All right. And we, of course, heard the importance of rest. Nurse mentioned it. So, hormones are released that make people pop down after sex. Wayne talked about the importance of rest in that connection between among all of those things. So sex has a lot of benefits. Let's take another short break and then we'll continue the conversation. Yes, we can go into talking about the different. We were just talking about this off air, and then you all caught us. So I will just let Wayne take it over and get into talking about.
So in our community, there are different levels of people with different health conditions, different fitness levels, let's say. So we have a wide range of activities that persons can do. For instance, they are weightlifting. So weightlifting is what you consider anaerobic exercise. All right. So weightlifting is good. It helps strengthen your skeletal muscle, as I say. And as we get older, we don't want to wrinkle like a prune. We want to make sure our muscle is fired up, and by doing that we wouldn't lose so much of that mass when we get older, because when you get older your body start to regress, so you want to try to optimize. All right, so if you have injuries and stuff like that, if you are not somebody who really likes to lift weights, you can do yoga. And I know in St. Kitts we have yoga personnels around. Also, the pelvic floor exercise. You don't need to go to the gym for that. You can look it up on YouTube, use your smartphones, and you know, that can show you something. Or you can just Google as well. So pelvic floor exercise, very important. Also cardiovascular exercise. So walk, where you can do interval walks. So you can start with a light walk and then you can push it up a little bit so that your heart rate can beat a little faster. That works as well. So these are some of the things that you can do. When it comes to persons who have certain injuries, let's say you have knee injury, stuff like that, you mightn't be able to do certain exercise, stuff like that. Even person who probably recovering from a stroke and stuff like that, because, you know, somebody who have a stroke, you know, their function wouldn't be the same. But it can come back,
Yes.
and they can be sexually active again,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So there are chair exercise. As I say, you can Google, you know, little exercise you can do in the chair, stuff like that. It doesn't impact your body too much, but you're able to get a good workout. So I'm saying if you're not doing any of these, you can always enroll to a gym, since we're talking exercise and sex. So find a gym. If you don't want to find a gym, find somebody who's into fitness. Maybe there's someone who do walking in your community. You can start there. And I am appealing again, especially to the males, because I know majority of the sisters, they go and do their checks. They do the pap smear, stuff like that.
Yes.
But the males, they are not doing that, especially when it comes to the prostate. You know, long ago, a lot of guys used to be like, yo, me ain't going because they don't want nobody shove their finger in their butt or something like that, right?
Yes.
But
there's
now,
a blood test.
okay,
Can be done through a blood test.
Wow.
Yes. You go to any health center and you let the nurse write up the forms for you for the different blood works, and you get your checks done. Also at Kayan Health Center, we are currently working. We have a men's health clinic the second Tuesday of each month, unless it's a holiday. We start at 1. We welcome any men around the island.
Okay.
so those are some of the avenues that you can fall into. If you're not doing any checks yet, get your check done. I'm appealing to males. Since I started to do my check, I feel more comfortable, more confident. I don't have to wonder what's going on with me in terms of that. And I'm physically active. And, you know, I'm telling everyone, you know, make sure you get your rest, make sure you get your rest. But sometimes being a trainer, I have to be like, man, I only get 5 hours today. So I'm mindful how important rest is to recover, so that you can perform still. Because that's where we say, after sex, your body become relaxed. Most time, man fall asleep first. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because
Some women complain.
Yeah, I was
Don't
thinking
understand.
the same thing.
We didn't understand.
And we don't want that, right? We
But
want the
now we understand it.
yeah, we want the endurance, right? Like if you take a little rest, because sometimes even when you're at the gym, you know, you just need a little minute breather, and then you come back, you're good again. That's what we want, right? Like we don't want the women to complain and it just stop there, or the partners to complain and it just stop there. We want it to be like, okay, you say, babe, I just need a little rest and then I'll be good again. Like that's what we're aiming for, because the issue is not in the stopping, right, or the pausing. The issue is if one partner expected it to go on for 10 minutes, maybe your partner just needed 5 more minutes, and you're cut off right there. So this is where exercise and fitness, among other things, nutrition and other things, of course, come into play. That's why I like, you know, what you said about going to get your checks, because before you engage in any kind of
activity,
physical
right,
activity,
right,
it's important
to
that
have
you
your
go
check.
to your doctors and you make sure that everything is as it should be,
Right.
so that you don't cause any unnecessary or extra stress, right, to your body, because we need you to be alive so that you can have pleasure. you get me?
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked about a lot of things, and you kind of just started to go into like some exercises that are good for people to start with, or to be, to include in their fitness regime or regimen. I want to know specific exercises or like a fitness routine that can be used for improving sex.
For male and female?
For everybody.
Everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so Kegel exercise.
Okay.
So,
Tell me the routine,
Alright,
so head to toe, the
all right,
routine.
so
Walk me through it. Yeah.
Kegel exercise. This is something that you can do at home. It's a form of yogi. So you lie on your back, your feet would be on your bed, so your knees will be bent. And what you're doing is you can lift your butt up, so your shoulders and the sole of your feet would be the only thing touching the bed.
Okay.
And you would lift yourself up. That is one exercise that can help, because you're squeezing your glutes and squeezing up. All right.
Pause.
Yeah.
Just saying, if you're listening or watching right now, you can actually, do the activities as we speak. I think some of them will not require weights or anything like that.
No. So
listen, lie down, follow through. Yeah.
So we can also do the cat pose. So you be on your forearm and your knees, and you can arch yourself, and so you're arching yourself.
You
and
like your
stuff.
hunch over
Your
and
hunch,
then your
yeah,
arch.
yes.
Like how cats.
Right.
And it's a yoga pose as well.
Right.
Good for your arch.
Then you can go into the child pose.
Okay.
So you're pushing your butt to your heels. So you're on your knees and you're pushing yourself forward, pushing your hands forward and pushing your butt to your heels. That's a good exercise as well. So these are exercises that you can do on your bed. Abdominal exercise also work. So while you're lying on the bed, you can lift your legs up, bring them down, lift the legs up, alternate the legs. You can pull your legs into your chest, kick the leg out. It's nothing too taxing on the body.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah.
For how it relates to sex.
Right. So all these good exercise that would help. Still, skipping is good. Dancing, stuff like that is stuff that you can do that you don't need to go to a gym to do. You know what I mean? So these are some of the stuff. But let's say I'm in the gym, even if I'm not in the gym, push-ups, deadlifts, squats, all these exercises are good.
Yeah.
Any exercise that helps your trunk, stuff like that.
Your trunk?
Yeah, your
okay.
your
This
stomach.
area.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I mean? That can help as well. So these are just some of the exercises. You can get a stick, you can do some twists. You can get a stick, you can do some side bends, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Just keep the body moving, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think those are good.
Yeah. I'm just giving exercise
Yeah.
that anybody can do,
Right.
because there's a small population that goes to the gym. I don't think it's more than 30%.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be less. So most people are home and they come from work. I know sometimes you're exhausted, stuff like that. Start with 5 minutes and then gradually build yourself up. The same as walking, anything. Start with a base. So your base would be 5-10 minutes, and then you do that for a while. You get stronger. You see your form and everything improve. then you can increase. All right. So get your check. Then if you don't want to get a trainer or go to the gym, etc., find somebody who you can walk, whether in the morning, afternoon. If you have children and they are into athleticism, that's a good way to build that relationship with your child and say, hey, listen, I know you do track and field. Let me go take a walk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have a stroller and you have a baby, once the baby is old enough, you cover them properly and, you do stuff like that, to get your exercise. I'm just saying that, based on maybe how your lifestyle is, since we are saying exercise definitely impacts the sexual appetite and drive. So just find some way of doing physical exercise. I know we can make a million excuses, but our health is our wealth. That's what they say. So it's nutrition, physical activity, rest. And that definitely will keep the libido up, keep the woman them going, keep everybody happy. Yeah?
Yeah, sounds good. And of course, there are a lot of these exercises are suitable or adaptable for people with disabilities.
With
right?
disability.
So yeah,
So,
do you want to? Yeah.
So I've been doing some chair exercise with older persons, and it's been going well. In terms of persons who probably had a stroke and stuff like that, there are persons around like myself and others who can help in terms of giving certain exercise and stuff like that to get you back there. But if you have disability, the most important thing is to have that conversation with your doctor. Make sure your doctor check out everything, that information, then you would give it to somebody who is a trainer. And I know some people would prefer go online and check certain exercise that they can do. But if you are not so comfortable doing that, there are gyms around, there are trainers around. Somebody should know a trainer, and have a conversation, and that conversation can help impact the way in which you approach your exercise regime. Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask, this is just a question because I don't know. Are there any community-based or through the health center fitness programs that people can enroll in, or not yet? It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. We had a health educator from Taiwan, but for some reason he had to go back home. He used to come and collaborate with the diabetic hypertensive when we have the clinic on a monthly basis, but it is on a pause presently.
Okay, but to return.
Yes.
Hopefully. Okay. And I think both of you would agree, that stretching is also an important.
Right. And that's what yoga is.
Yeah.
And any stretching is yoga. They are static and dynamic stretching. Aerobic would be one form of that. And yoga would be one form of that. So one would be that movement, and one would be holding that pose. You know what I mean? So I can just hold a pose and stand tall, and I'm the mountain.
Yeah.
I can stretch myself out, and you know what I mean? I can do the aerobics thing. So either it's a form of stretching, dynamic and static stretching.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nurse, this question is also for you. This is me also wondering. Are there any... I know nurses don't necessarily prescribe things, but are there any supplements or foods that you especially think would be good for people on their fitness, sexual health journeys?
More fruits and vegetables, and fruits in the low glycemic index.
Okay. Can you give me some examples? 'Cause I don't know.
Blueberry, strawberry, oranges, tangerine, banana is high on the list. Grapes, don't consume more than 10 to 12 grapes.
At a time?
Yes.
Per day?
Per day.
Oh, okay, good to know. So not the whole bowl of grapes.
No.
But bananas are good.
You can eat bananas, but not too much, because remember the sugar content. Is like, even though it's natural sugar, the sugar content
It's
is
still
high.
there.
Because you find, we would tell our diabetics, if they're going to eat mango, eat a piece of mango, and one mango.
Not a
the
whole
most,
bucket.
Not a whole, definitely not.
Not a whole bucket. Okay.
If they're going to eat banana, eat a half of a banana.
Okay. And for someone who is not diabetic, a whole banana should be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So even though they're fruits and vegetables and, they provide us with good nutrients, everything's still in moderation. That's the message that I'm getting
Yes.
from the nurse. So
Based on your health condition. Because somebody who does not has that health condition probably would have 2 bananas.
No, one still.
One still?
Yes, you have to watch the sugar content.
We don't have 2 bananas.
And then the berries.
We don't have 2 bananas. That's different.
Yeah, because when I make my shake, I
When,
put,
like, hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
if a person had 2 bananas, what would... So you have 2 bananas.
yeah, like I make a shake, I put 2 bananas, maybe I put some strawberry,
But
depends.
do you drink all the shake one time?
Yeah.
Well, I drink it throughout like an hour span, but that's like
That's all,
okay, but that's when I finish workout. You understand?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but remember, when you finish workout, you're feeding the muscles.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when
You
I
have
would.
to watch your sugar content.
Yeah.
Yes, but remember, I'm burning a lot of energy. So when we look at the natural sugar, so we are talking about fructose.
Fructose.
Fructose,
Yes.
yes. So fructose is different from getting sugar from carbohydrate stuff like rice and stuff like that. So based on some studies, maybe you can, fructose is easier.
Digested, but at the same time, it's not what you eat, it's how much of what you eat, your portion size. You understand?
So 1 banana. So how much silk fig that? 3?
I was going to ask if it's silk fig, it's 2. But silk fig
the
sweeter
silk
than
fig is-
bananas.
Yes, the
Yeah.
silk fig is sweeter than the
Yeah.
regular bananas.
So it's probably still 1.
All right, but what if I don't eat the banana? Like, yeah, we like to eat the banana when it's like ripe, and that sweetie thing. But what if it's not consumed when it reaches that state?
What if it's a green fig?
Not a green fig, ripe.
I know what
you
you
know what I
At
mean?
its peak.
Yeah.
What's-
So
Then on this, it
You
sounds
still-
like
you- you-
on the safe
You
side.
still eat one.
okay.
Eat 1 banana.
One banana.
So
Even
Eat
if you put
10 to 12
one
grapes.
third, even if you use 2 bananas in your smoothie, you divide the smoothie in half.
Right.
You understand?
Right. So when I make a
You have
nice
to make a
smoothie,
lifestyle change now.
well, I would have to eat 1 banana.
Does it help because you said like tangerines and things like that, some fruits are on the sweet side, some fruits are on the tart side. Does it help to mix like sweet and tart fruit?
Yeah, you can. And the
Okay.
berries, especially strawberry, blueberry, blackberry, raspberry, the berries are very good because remember the antioxidant
Yeah. All which
helps to get
connect
rid of inflammation in the body. Because you find somebody might be having joint pain, and when they're having the joint pain, it could be inflammation of the joint. Because the thing is that there are persons who feel like they're supposed to drink milk every day to get their calcium, but there are other foods that are rich in calcium.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like after you come off your mother's breast, you don't need any more milk. You see animal drinking human milk? No. No, seriously. So if we really need to use milk, I feel we should use the plant-based milk, which is the almond milk or the coconut milk.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because milks help to cause inflammation. You find somebody, they may have a cold and they're still drinking milk,
Yeah.
which is really bad because the milk is holding on to the mucus
Yeah.
that is in their lungs as well.
And you feel it because when you drink something milky, everything gets like stickier. Yeah. Good. Very, very good.
So watermelon, cantaloupes.
Yeah,
let's-
but it's also still in
That's
moderation.
in the low glycemic
Yeah.
as well.
So you can eat a lot of watermelon.
Yeah.
You can eat a lot of cantaloupes.
But not a whole watermelon.
Well,
A whole cantaloupe, because the cantaloupe is sweet also.
Yes, so not a whole one, but you can eat more of it than other things. And I think this is also a message to the supermarkets to lower your prices so we can access the things that we need for our sexual health.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you both for that. I want to ask you if you have any final words as we wrap up this conversation on the relationship between sex and exercise, sex and fitness.
Ladies first.
Okay, well, like I said before, sex, it helps in a lot. It helps benefits. It helps to release stress, anxiety. Once you exercise, it increases your libido. And if you're anxious or you're stressed out, you take a walk or you have sex, it releases the necessary hormones to help you to relax. Also, it helps you to sleep better. If you have a headache, even if you have gas, and I have proven it for myself. I learned this from another nurse, that it helps to get rid of gas also. Yes.
Okay.
So it's my time?
Yeah, thank you.
So, yes, exercise, very important. If you're not doing it, get your health check. Males, my brothers, I'm appealing to you. Go and get your health check. Get your prostate check. Get everything check. I know some of us smoke, some of us drink, some of us just eat everything. And, we have to be more mindful as we get older in terms of the way in which we treat our body. So physical activity, proper nutrition, rest, and then we would see a downward spiral in NCDs, all these stuff that happened to us, right, Nurse?
Yes.
Okay.
And we would see an increase
in
sexual
pineal
pleasure,
drive,
sexual health, sexual wellness, all of those things, because I think we really drilled into the connection between all of those things. So we don't necessarily think that what we do outside of the bedroom affects us inside of the bedroom or wherever it is that we're having sex, but it's clear that there are links between our nutrition and our sexual health, our fitness and our sexual health, our rest and our sexual health. They all affect our performance, our desire. So not even just your performance, but whether or not you want to do it in the first place is affected by all of these different factors. So if you want to desire sex, because most people do.
yes,
Right? And if you want to keep that desire up, to keep that, libido, your, I can't remember the word, performance, all of those things. If you want to keep those functioning optimally, it's important for you to first get your checks to see where you are health-wise, make sure everything is good and you are good to go before you
before you engage
go
in any
climb
physical
Mount
activity.
Liamiga,
Yeah.
right? Go do your checks. And the nurse has mentioned that there are many options, or more options now than there might have been before for doing different tests. So do your tests, find out what's going on with your body. Make sure that you feel comfortable and confident going into your fitness, your exercise. We've got different actual exercises that we can do based on where we are now, things that we want to incorporate, parts of our body that we want to work on and strengthen, because there are, if you're talking about pelvic floor muscles, if you're talking about doing Kegels, that helps everything and everyone, right?
Yes, it does.
So really encouraging you all to look more into the connection between fitness and sexual health, because remember, Pleasure Pulse is all about your pleasure. It's all about ensuring that you get pleasure and give pleasure. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Pleasure Pulse. Thank you to my guests, Wayne Clark and Nurse Noreen Gabriel, for agreeing to be here with me and having this conversation. Thank you to you all for listening. And remember, Pleasure Pulse is a safe, inclusive space for everyone. No topic is too big or too small, and you'll see that we talk about all kinds of things and make all kinds of connections here. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye.